1-1 in conference action, and they feel like the Indiana transfer, Brendan Sorsby at quarterback, Kirk, is a big reason why.
Yeah, they brought in some leadership in Sorsby, and he is quickly taking over this team. He's built Cincinnati tough, they feel like. That's the reason why he's their starting quarterback.
Cincinnati won the toss and elected to defer. So UCF and E.J. Colson will get the football to start. Couple 1-1 teams in the topsy-turvy and unpredictable Big 12 Conference. Nathan Hawks gets it away for Cincinnati to Johnny Richardson, and UCF will have it at the 25. Year 4 under Gus Malzahn. Started out 3-0, but coming in, like we said, off back-to-back losses, Colorado, and then last Saturday in the Swamp in Gainesville. And they want to lean on a rushing attack that's one of the best in the country, playing at home, and all that even more so with Colson.
Yeah, you mentioned it, back-to-back losses, and we asked Gus Malzahn, what are you good at right now? He said, well, we think running the football, so we're going to see them run the football a ton today. R.J. Harvey may be running the football till he throws up. I'm going to be honest with you. They are going to hand that ball off to number 7, especially with the true freshman quarterback, Colson, in for UCF.
It's a keeper, and it's Colson to the edge. Maybe that's a way to get E.J. Colson involved early on. Again, 17, and that was his first collegiate snap.
Yeah, first snap and a layup. They give him a little layup, little read option. He keeps it. I think that was almost a design keep for Colson, who's a dual-threat quarterback just out of high school.
4-star recruit in our ESPN rankings. Second down and short, and this time it is Harvey, one of the nation's best rushers, got stacked up by Jack Dingle and appears to be just short. Third and about a half yard.
Yeah, first third down for Colson. So for me, the one thing I'm going to say, how does he handle third down? Are you going to put him in situations where he throws the football? I think because it's third and short, you keep this one on the ground.
With the Orlando native, rushed for more than 1,400 yards last year and has 11 touchdowns this year in R.J. Harvey. Gets it from Colson. Harvey breaks the tackle. R.J. Harvey into plus territory inside the 35. 31 yards.
It was just a missed tackle. Jonathan Thompson right in the hole. He misses the tackle, and you don't need much for R.J. Harvey as he gets to the outside for the big game.
It's Harvey again on the ground, and just back to the line of scrimmage.
This is a hurry-up offense for UCF, and you want to put the defense in a situation where they're having to communicate, they're having to talk, and if one guy is out of that gap, and you see the rotation here going on both sides, but one guy's out of the gap, or R.J. Harvey makes one guy miss, it turns into a big play.
Harvey does get the breather here, and Miles Montgomery, the Cincinnati transfer, strings it out wide, and Montgomery lowers the shoulder going up against his former team, and Derek Canteen for 5 yards.
You're seeing good penetration early on by Cincinnati's defense. They're getting up the field. The only thing is the speed of these running backs for UCF, able to get to the outside and pick up positive yards.
Third down. Montgomery is excellent in pass protection, just back from injury. They feed him, and he goes hopscotching a yard short. 4th and 1, and how aggressive will UCF be?
I think they're going to be very aggressive. They've kept the ball on the ground. They have not allowed the true freshman to put the ball in the air, and here come the big boys of the offensive line. The big tight end, 44, Evan Moore. So they brought in the big heavy package. They're going to keep that offense on the field. Again, they haven't thrown the ball yet. I don't expect them to do that here on 4th down.
R.J. Harvey is in for a direct snap in the gun. Keegan Smith, another offensive lineman, has come in. Richardson in motion. Harvey keeps, and R.J. Harvey, as he often does in that direct snap, moves the sticks.
It's just vision. You got vision. Colson goes out of the game. Harvey re-enters the game, and all it was the vision of the quarterback. R.J. Harvey, it's not a position he doesn't know. He's a former quarterback, Mike. He came in to UCF as a former quarterback. A lot of former quarterbacks on this roster. That time he took the direct snap as a quarterback, but showed off the running back vision for the first down.
Gets another breather. 7 plays, all runs, like you said, for the Knights. And they'll let Colson throw for the end zone. A little too much juice. Fired his first one in college for Kobe Hudson.
Yeah, that's what I saw on tape. Just the few clips that I've seen of E.J. Colson. That's what I saw from him in high school. It's that quick release, and you see how quickly that ball was out of his hands and all sailed out the back of the end zone. Like, a little bit of nervousness, right? First game, his first throw, just a little bit too much juice on that one.
So now it's second down and 10. Johnny Richardson is the running back. 5'7" and shifty, and he barrels forward. Ball came out. Cincinnati's got it. Richardson coughs it up, and the Bearcats get a takeaway. Harris Adams comes up with it, and a turnover on the first drive.
Yeah, number 7, Jared Bartlett. He comes in, he knocks that football out. It was a nice hit, and Cincinnati in their red zone, showing off that red zone defense.
Three roommates.
Complement of running backs.
Yeah, he's got everybody. And you mentioned coming off of a week where they didn't have a game, a bye week, they've been itching to get back on this field.
Last we saw was a 3-point loss, high scoring against Texas Tech. They spit it out to the edge, and that is a short gain of just 2 yards, with Braden Marshall making the stop on Tony Johnson.
Yeah, early on, there'll be scripted plays for Cincinnati, a little more pro style. All right, they're going to take their time. They're not a quick hurry-up offense, so they're going to huddle. Yes, they will huddle, people. Cincinnati's offense does huddle, but that's what Sorsby is able to do. He's able to get his team in the right play and make some checks at the line of scrimmage.
The Indiana transfer with Corey Kiner. 1,000-yard rusher last year with a big seam. Corey Kiner is into UCF territory with a vicious stiff arm at the end for Quadric Bullard to the 28.
Great to have Corey Kiner back. He was injured in the last game, but my favorite player on this football team is the tight end. Over on the outside is Joe Royer. Sometimes he's kind of hiding in there, but the block by Royer at the point of attack creates that seam for Corey Kiner, and that allows him to get to the outside for the big play. Joe Royer, number 11, to me, the key to the Cincinnati offense.
The Ohio State transfer is also their second leading receiver, and you said they put him everywhere. He's in motion here. Sorsby going one-on-one down the sideline, incomplete for Jamoy Mays.
Today also is about creating pressure. And for UCF, they've got to find some pressure with their front four. Kelly, Barber, Hunter, Lawrence. These guys up front, they're going to have to create pressure. You cannot allow Sorsby back there with all kinds of time. He will dissect any defense.
It almost looks like a typo. UCF has only 3 sacks this year, but they did heat up the pressure, and they blitzed more last week in the swamp than they had all season. A flinch on the right side of the offensive line from Phil Wilder.
False start, offense number 56, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Yeah, you can take your pick there. Also, DeAndre Buford at left guard. It's an offense that's fared well this season. They're 12th in the country by total yardage. They're 16th in yards per play, with Scott Satterfield calling the plays, and it all stems from the quarterback and a good stable of running backs as well.
Yeah, they're balanced, very balanced. And as they start to get closer to the red zone, they can open up the playbook.
Second down and long. They feed Kiner again. And good to see him back. Third down and long. Kiner's back from a rib oblique issue suffered before the bye in Lubbock.
Yeah, and he's their best runner. But a lot of other guys got some opportunities, but I'm going to use the term you used a little bit earlier on me, Mike. You hit me with the hopscotch, right? And Corey Kiner showing you as well the hopscotch. They're going, I call it downhill sledding, right, in the Alpine. And that's what he's able to do, but it sets up a third and long. And if there's a quarterback you trust on third and long, it's Britton Sorsby.
Evan Pryor spells Corey Kiner. Third down and 10. Pressure picked up. Sorsby on the move. Searching, lobbing, downfield, and intercepted by Brandon Adams. Poor decision from Brendan Sorsby, and UCF gets the takeaway right back.
Just a poor decision by Sorsby. He's trying to go late in the down to the tight end, but he's not there. He's not available. And it's just about doing your job. Brandon Adams coming off coverage and getting a pick.
I wish we could watch the.
Just a great play by Brandon Adams because he was on coverage on Jamoy May. He's down at the bottom. He's going to be here sinking, but he sees this receiver late, and then he comes back and gets the interception. This is a nice job by Brandon Adams on his coverage. He turns around. He's locating, looking at the quarterback, and comes back and gets the interception.
Off of Brendan Sorsby, who had said to us this week, one of the things I've done best is not give the football away. Swing it out to Johnny Richardson. They go right to him after the fumble, and he fumbles again. Cincinnati falls on it, and it's another takeaway. Jake Golday popped it out, and Logan Wilson comes up with it.
When you rally, when you get all hats to the football, good things happen. Jake Golday, he's just getting there. He balances up, and Richardson tried to cut inside. Watch the left hand of Golday. He just knocks that thing out. It was the right hand. I'm sorry, the right hand as I'm looking. I just saw that hand get in there. He knocks it out. So he did get the 2-for-1. Knocked it out and recovered it. That's a huge play right there by the junior linebacker, Golday.
Who was a big find in the portal out of the FCS ranks at Central Arkansas. And the coaching staff has really liked what he's done. And they said he's going to start stuffing the stat sheet even more. The 2-for-1 sets up Cincinnati at the 5. Kiner, a yard. How about all the turnovers we've seen already?
And that's nothing that has to do with the quarterback. We came in talking about the quarterback change, but that's 2 turnovers, 2 fumbles by offensive skill position players.
And Johnny Richardson, they went right back to him, and he popped it up again.
Yeah, he may be on the sideline the rest of the day. That's one thing. You don't turn over the football, and he's done it twice today. Faith to go back to him, but that's 2 on the ground for Richardson.
Royer in motion. Sorsby wasn't expecting the snap. Floats for the end zone. Incomplete for Jamoy Mays. 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, they got a little discombobulated on that play. You can see Sorsby as he's walking back to the huddle. What happened? He had motion in front of him. The ball was snapped. It was unexpected. And so basically he turned that play into something. Good thing he threw it away. But here's a 3rd down, Mike, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go with all 4 downs if they don't get it here on 3rd down. This is a bonus possession, right? Bonus possession. You just got another turnover. I expect this to be 4-down territory.
Into the teeth of the bounce house here in Orlando. Sorsby to throw. Pressure coming. Sorsby gets rid of it. Back in the end zone, incomplete. Pressure from Nigel Kelly, and it's 4th down.
And this is what I expected. I expected 4-down territory, and coach is going to go for the field goal. He's going to get points out of this. I think with a bonus possession, you try to get another touchdown in here, but we talked about it before, Mike. Where will the pressure come from? And right now you're seeing an outstanding job. Nigel Kelly coming off the edge, forcing Sorsby to have to get rid of the football.
Nathan Hawks comes out, redshirt senior in-state kid in Ohio, 2nd year after transferring in from Division III Wittenberg. Has taken over for Carter Brown. Missed a couple last game against Texas Tech, but Nathan Hawks is good here from 22, and Cincinnati starts the scoring. Well, coming up later tonight, number 9 Ole Miss takes on number 13 LSU in Tiger Stadium. Death Valley will be jumping, 7:30 on ABC. And then our night is capped off with Shedeur Sanders and Colorado hosting number 18 Kansas State in Boulder, 10:15 Eastern on ESPN.
Yeah, that may be the big game of the day in terms of the Big 12. It's Kansas State back. That Colorado team was here a couple of weeks ago that started this losing streak for UCF. They felt like they didn't play well at all, and Shedeur Sanders and Coach Prime came down and took care of business. So some great games all throughout college football. Death Valley tonight, 7:30 after our game. I can't wait. But, man, these 2 guys, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. I mean, right now I've got Travis Hunter at my top because he's playing both sides of the ball, offense and defense.
Draft board or Heisman?
I'm talking Heisman.
Okay.
Let's go Heisman first. But then Ashton Genty not far behind the running back out of Boise State. But 2 outstanding players we'll get a chance to see tonight.
So Nathan Hawks is good on the field goal try, and no Johnny Richardson back to return. You just saw R.J. Harvey with the 2 fumbles from Richardson. And no Xavier Townsend, who was returning kicks and punts as well. And he's probably the most notable of a half dozen in-season departures. Guys who are electing to redshirt, leave the program, and will enter the portal when it opens up. And this program, more than any other, has been hit by this.
Yeah, it's college football as we know it. Kids are making business decisions. And the one thing is that if things aren't working for them at one program, it's, hey, I'll save my year and go somewhere else. I'm not one that is into this. I feel like you go to a school, you tough it out, you work your way up, but everybody wants to do their own thing. And this is the new wave of college football.
And so all kinds of upheaval for UCF. And the quarterback change as well. E.J. Colson, another shot down the sideline into coverage for Kobe Hudson. And broken up. Well defended by Jordan Robinson, the Kentucky transfer.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Robinson locating, stayed in phase, and then turned around and was able to locate the football. That's a nice job. I thought it was a flag, but it was a mouthpiece that came out there on the play. I saw something yellow on the ground. I was like, was that a flag? It was a mouthpiece that was retrieved.
Well, look at this as well. After Robinson had the PBU, Jakari Brown has come in at quarterback. Guy who had been listed as the number 2, but had been serving as the number 3. And the Miami transfer gets to the edge, and he's got a first down. So KJ Jefferson gets benched. 17-year-old true freshman starts. Redshirt sophomore Jakari Brown comes in on the 3rd possession for the Knights.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We're probably going to see both these quarterbacks today. Brown, a little more experience. He's the transfer. But then we just talked about E.J. Colson. So we're going to see both guys throughout this game.
30 snaps on the season now for Jakari Brown, who hasn't played in more than a month going back to week 2. Former top 200 recruit in our ESPN 300. Big body, big arm, he can run. But he's going to the air here. Brown across the middle, and he's got a completion. Flung a dart to Jacoby Jones for 14.
And that's a tight window throw, Mike. They only rushed 3, so what does that tell you? That means that Cincinnati's dropping 8. Not a lot of room to throw the football, and Brown finds Jones for the big game.
Only his 2nd catch of the year, and now Brown pulls it from Harvey. Brown's off to the races, and he gets wrangled down near the 20 with a flag back at the 42.
Yeah, they're going to get a flag on the outside. I think it was either receiver or the tight end. Maybe the tight end, Pittman, just got a hold of the jersey. It was right there in front of the official that got Brown from getting all the way to the end zone, possibly. It happened right on the outside, right at the point of attack. It was Pittman, and he was right there engaged with Jordan Robinson, the cornerback. Robinson's going to the ball. Looked like Pittman just had a little hold of the jersey.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
Yeah, they didn't give a number, but it was Pittman. It was number 5 right there at the point of attack, Mike. Comes in at the bottom. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough. It was a pull, right? Anytime that jersey extends and a hand is on it, they're going to call that, especially that calls the big game by Jakari Brown.
From the -47, handoff Harvey. Harvey's so jittery, and he gets to the edge. Forced out by Josh Minkins. But we didn't know what to expect at quarterback today. We met with the UCF coaches last night, and it seemed like, according to them, all systems go. They went to great lengths to keep everything quiet on what they were doing at quarterback, but word had started to trickle out about Colson, and now we see Brown on the 3rd possession. Harvey again. Nothing there. How do you think it goes when you're playing multiple quarterbacks?
I think it's just a little bit different because you got a lot. I know Don has something. What you got, Don?
Yeah, I actually asked Coach earlier before the game about that. He said we were going to see both of them today. He said no set rotation. At the end of the day, we need to get a win, and we're going to do whatever we need to do that.
So we'll see how it goes. Adapting between those two. 3rd down. Brown, screen. Hudson wrapped up. Good chase down the line by Rob Jackson. 4th down.
That's a nice job of reading and reacting there by Rob Jackson. Remember, he's going up to the quarterback. He reads it and is able to go down and go make a play before they're able to pick up the first down. Number 99, he's right there. He's by the quarterback. Read, react, go make a play. That's a nice job there by 99. Rob Jackson now forcing UCF to have to make a decision on a 4th and short.
Helmet came off, so Rob Jackson has to go off for this 4th down with UCF prepared, at least for now, to go for it. And UCF and Gus Malzahn will take a timeout and think things over. We'll take the timeout with him. Cincinnati's up 3 on UCF in the first.
NHL Frozen Frenzy on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and
Jefferson has been supplanted as the quarterback here in Orlando, but still with Johnny Richardson supporting his teammate.
Yeah, and this is what you want to see. You're not available right now for your team on the field, but being over there mentally, having fun with them, this is what you expect. And this is leadership. This is a guy that's been in college football for a long time, struggling to start the season, but that's leadership in ways that you can still help out your team win a football game.
43 career starts for the Arkansas transfer. He's on the sidelines today. Jakari Brown is still in there on 4th down. 4th down and 2 with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. And Cincinnati up by 3. Brown to throw. Across the middle, broken up. Intended for Hudson, and a great play by Logan Wilson, and a turnover on downs.
That is a touchdown saving play by Logan Wilson. Watch 13 Logan Wilson. He just he's staying, and when he breaks, he does a tremendous job of getting a hand in there. You would expect him to use the left hand, but he was able to recover and use the right hand. Almost had an opportunity to even intercept that play. That is a touchdown saving play on 4th down by Logan Wilson.
So Cincinnati's defense has forced a couple fumbles, and now they forced the turnover on downs with Wilson stepping up on 4th down. A great starting field position for the Bearcats from the 39. Kiner on the ground. Gets cracked down after 2.
Yeah, that's a great point you make, though, Mike. We sit here and you've talked about some of the miscues, right? That's 2 turnovers and now 1 turnover on down. So 3 times you've gotten the ball back, and all you've got is 3 points to show for it. The longer this game goes on, you're going to have to score touchdowns, because you can feel UCF offensively working the kinks out a little bit, going through some things with some quarterback changes. Cincinnati's got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone.
They've got only 2 passing yards so far. Everything's been on the ground for Scott Satterfield's offense. Pressure picked up by Kiner. Sorsby under heat, got away, and goes down. Wrapped up by Isaiah Nixon, the redshirt freshman, as UCF swarm.
That's a 4-man sack. I know one guy is going to get the sack, but that's 4 different guys who are trying to get Sorsby down. One guy misses, one guy's able to flush him to the right, one guy's able to flush him to the left, and Nixon was able to finish him off. That's a great team sack, especially for the guys up front.
Only UCF's 4th sack of the season. Now pre-snap movement on the left side of the offensive line, and who are they going to get first? Either Nigel E. Kelly or the left tackle, John Williams.
Interesting call here. You mentioned it. Did he influence the tackle to jump?
Offside, defense number 11, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Yeah, Nigel E. Kelly just got into the neutral zone, and that's what forced the left tackle to jump just a little bit. John Williams to go back. That's always the point, right? I love the point by John Williams. Say, hey, look, see. And the official granted his wish with the point and getting the 5 yards closer here, making this a 3rd and 6.
They're pretty smart by John Williams at left tackle. 3rd down. Bearcats need 6. Sorsby steps up, lofts it across the middle for Royer. Trusty Joe Royer into plus territory with 16.
I say not your average Joe, but you say trusty Joe. But this is what this offense is all about. Sorsby has been under duress in the pocket, but who does he rely on? Who does he go to? He knows where number 11 is going to be at, in the spot that he's supposed to be. And that's a terrific job of reading the defense and finding an open Royer for a 1st down.
Royer, the Cincinnati native who went to Elder, good friends with the right guard Luke Kandra. Evan Pryor, another Ohio State transfer, for a half yard. Why do you like Royer so much?
Because he does so much in the offense, right? He's a blocker. He's a catcher. I mean, I've seen him run the football. He shows toughness. He does a lot. It may not always go down in the stat sheet, but see him hopping off the field for a little bit, I won't be surprised when he comes back. He'll be back on the field, but he does so much for this offense that he's a valuable asset to Sorsby.
Yeah, I'll also tell you this, guys, when I talked to Ethan Barr, UCF's linebacker, he said it's tough to prep for him because not a lot of teams have those versatile tight ends that do it all. They're so pivotal to their offensive success, so you don't see it often.
On 2nd down and 9, Sorsby spinning away from Nixon, firing downfield, incomplete. Wanted Jamoy Mays, and Sorsby created the opportunity, and Jason Johnson was in coverage.
I love the initial get off of this defensive line. It's one guy seems to always come free, and it's because they're slanting up at the line of scrimmage. That time it was Isaiah Nixon who flushed Sorsby to his left, and once you get the quarterback out of the pocket, just turns into backyard football. Everybody guard your man. Good job, UCF, defensively.
Good to see Royer back on the field, slot right, and now more pre-snap movement. Left side of the offensive line against Matt Alexander, the defensive tackle for the Knights.
I'm a little shocked by this one, Mike. I'll tell you why after the call.
Penalty, 3rd down.
I'm a little shocked because it's supposed to be the other way around. This is a home game for UCF. So the defense, you wait till the ball is snapped. I'm surprised because offensively, you're supposed to go on 1, but they're holding that snap count. They're going on 2, and it's the defense that's jumping off sides on 3rd down at home.
And now it's 3rd down and 4 from the plus 35. All day for Sorsby. Moves in the pocket, can use his legs, and Sorsby lowers the shoulder. 1st down. He is tough, he is physical, and he can move as well.
And they started with the protection. The protection was great and allowed him to scan the defense. He went progression 1, 2, 3. You can just see the clock going off in his head, and he realized, okay, I got to go get the 1st down. Knows where that marker is. And what did he do? He dived for that. So they gave him the 1st down. Had he slid, probably would have been short, but the heady quarterback dives and gets the 1st down.
The portal pickup for Scott Satterfield in the offseason. Evan Pryor, nothing doing. When they looked at Brendan Sorsby in the portal, the general manager for Cincinnati, Zach Grant, remembers 2 plays. Indiana was at Penn State, and on a 2nd and 3, Brendan Sorsby lowered his shoulder. He got a 1st down. He ended up separating the AC joint in his shoulder. Stayed in. Very next play, threw a touchdown pass, came off the field with his arm dragging, finished the season with the separated AC joint.
Yeah, toughness. And there's a culture at Cincinnati. Sorsby fit right in because it's that type of toughness that you got to have to play at Cincinnati.
2nd down. Across the middle, Royer. Good pickup, and it'll set up 3rd down at about 3.5. And that's been a good connection. Sorsby and Royer. A couple of transfers, part of a team full of them in year 2 for Cincinnati.
You haven't seen the wide receivers really get involved just yet, right, Mike? It's been all Royer, and been waiting to see Xavier Henderson, Jamoy Mays, Tony Johnson. We see some receivers get involved now here on 3rd and 4.
So those transfer portal numbers for Cincinnati. 3rd down. UCF showing heat. They bring 5. Sorsby for Mays. Incomplete. They wanted to get Mays, and now a flag comes out late. Jason Johnson was in coverage, and there's a marker at the goal line.
Interesting call here. I thought Jason Johnson had terrific coverage. Jamoy Mays is the receiver on that one.
Pass interference, defense number 27, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
So it's the true freshman, Jason Johnson, and they do get him for pass interference.
Originally, I see Jason Johnson. He's in coverage. He's doing everything that he can. And I don't know if I see a call there. I don't agree with that play. I think both players are hand fighting. Maybe it's at the end you get a right arm bar from Johnson as the ball was coming for a reception, but I thought both players were hand fighting down the field. Would have loved to see a no call in that situation.
So it's costly on Johnson, who has stepped into a bigger role the last couple of weeks now for UCF. Was hardly playing early on. Sets up first down and goal for Cincinnati from the 8. Quarterback draw with Sorsby, and he gets swallowed up immediately. Nigel Kelly atones for a loss of 2.
Yeah, Nigel Kelly's having a good game so far. I know we're only in the first quarter, but he's making his presence felt. When he stays on side, right? When he's not jumping off side, he's doing a good job in the passing game, and this time making the play in the run game.
Kelly, the Miami transfer, former top 150 recruit in the country. Final 20 seconds of the first quarter in Orlando. Sorsby to throw. Sorsby, Henderson, wrapped up inside the 5. First touch for Xavier Henderson, and Braden Marshall was all over him, and it'll set up third down and goal in the second quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter. Timeout.
We've had turnovers galore through the first 15 minutes in Orlando. Couple of forced fumbles from Scott Satterfield's defense. So far, they've only cashed it into the 3 points, but they are knocking on the door in the Big 12 on the road when we come back.
The future is threatened by enemies often unpredictable.
Presented by Sling TV. They're jumping at the start of the second in Orlando. Cincinnati's knocking on the door with a big third down and goal for Brendan Sorsby. Takes it himself up the middle, and Sorsby is in for a touchdown. The tough and physical 230-pound quarterback punches it in for the first touchdown today.
And that was all 6'3", 228 pounds of Sorsby coming right at you. Look at how many blockers that are in place. Everybody got involved. Jamoy Mays, Royer, Sherman, and even Corey Kiner. When you got that kind of leverage with guys going into the end zone, you just kind of pick and choose door 1, 2, or 3, and Sorsby finds the open door for the touchdown.
Nathan Hawks tacks on the extra point. Well, Scott Satterfield has loved where his offense is through 5 games, he told us coming in. And all the conversations we had with the Bearcats folks this week centered around Brendan Sorsby. I mean, they think they have found a real dude at quarterback. And Scott Satterfield said to us, we think he's going to play on Sundays.
Yeah, he's a good decision maker, right? That's what they say. He knows what to do with the ball in his hands. And even so, he's come here, and we've talked about it, Mike. He's been able to tell his guys, hey, look, he knows when to press the buttons of his players. Very rare for a guy who just comes into a franchise or organization.
Guys, his teammates too. He said his left tackle, John Williams, told me, you know what, there are rah-rah guys, there are lead by example guys, and somehow Sorsby has figured out how to be both at exactly the right time. So that gives you just insight into what kind of leader he is too for his teammates.
Yeah, the coaching staff was saying he can fit in with any and all groups of people he's around. So it's a 10-point lead for Brendan Sorsby and Cincinnati on the road. R.J. Harvey ready to get it from Nathan Hawks. From the 6, the superstar running back, R.J. Harvey out to the 21. Check in with Kevin Connors in the studio.
Mike, offensive creativity, a hallmark of Lincoln Riley's teams. Trevor, how does Quentin Joyner break this?
Well, it's an end around, fake double end around, and USC's speed and space is how they will have to win this game because Penn State is going to beat them up in the trenches.
Big Ten teams, Mike, 1-8 when traveling 2 time zones. It's 7-3.
Yeah, it's tough to do, and USC 1-2 in the Big Ten coming off that loss in Minnesota.
Early start, 12:30 start locally for USC. They're steaming about that loss last week at Minnesota, but this is how it is, entering the Big Ten.
DJ Colson is back in. He's throwing the slant. It got tipped, and it's incomplete, intended for Kobe Hudson. Crowd wanted a penalty, but it got deflected first.
Nice job there by number 0, Josh Minkins. He's
No foul for
in
pass
coverage.
interference.
And
ball
he's the
was
guy
tipped.
that gets the hand up late. He's just watching the quarterback's eyes, and Minkins at 6'2", 200. He's a free safety, but remember, in a 3-3-5, you may get all kind of guys hanging around the line of scrimmage. Minkins with a nice tip.
The Louisville transfer in this Tyson Veit defense. New defensive coordinator this year. Colson keeps and lost the football. A third UCF fumble, and who's got it? Colson insists he came up with it, and he did. Antoine Peak forced it out, and nearly disaster again for the Knights.
And everyone talked about Antoine Peak, right? He's been the hitter of the defense. He comes in late, and he punches that football. That right hand just gets in there, and he connects with the ball, and that's on the ground. It could have been a disastrous play. Again, another turnover for UCF could have been. They're able to fall on it.
Yeah, Peak's position coach says Peak has a knack for doing just that, punching it out. Crisis averted, and now third down. Blitz picked up. Colson looking for somewhere to go, and down he goes. Jared Bartlett drops E.J. Colson. Fourth down. And a somersault celly for Jared Bartlett.
E for effort. That's all I'm going to say. You want to see an effort sack? Refuse to be blocked in the middle. Just watch everything that Bartlett's able to do. He gets blocked. He goes down to the ground and comes right back up and goes and makes the sack. That's refusing to be blocked, Mike. That is, tomorrow that has to be on the highlight tape. You put that on the highlight tape. You show everybody. That's a clinic tape about effort and refusing to be blocked. Mr. Bartlett with the sack.
Big-time stuff from the West Virginia transfer, the sixth-year senior Mike linebacker, who is Cincinnati's top tackler. Mitch McCarthy gets a low kick away toward Jamoy Mays at the 28 with room. He gets tripped up down to the 39. 10-yard return after a 52-yard punt.
Chunky is beefy. 21 grams of protein.
Standing coach, but it's crazy to see a coach fired after 5 weeks.
Barry Jackson Jr. on the end around got popped at the 44 after 4 yards.
Yeah, I love that play right there, by the way. You kind of get excited on a play like that because now you start to expand the run game. I was just asking you, Mike, how do the receivers get involved, right? They're just out there just kind of doing some cardio. They want to get involved in the game, and what do? You get an end around to start the drive, and you get a positive game.
First touch for the redshirt freshman Barry Jackson, seeing time in the slot, with Cincinnati telling us they're planning to redshirt Aaron Turner. Second down and 6. Kiner's the running back. Sorsby to throw. Steps up, gets it away, incomplete. Intended for Jamoy Mays. Sheldon Arnold was all over him, and it's third down.
Yeah, nice job in the trail position by Arnold. 6'1", 191 pounds. He's the East Tennessee State transfer, able to stay in that hip pocket and help force this third and long. This is where the UCF rush has to come alive in this situation.
Ted Roof, the defensive coordinator for UCF, told us they want to bring more pressure. They've got to affect the quarterback. On this all-important drive with his team trailing by 10, how do they fare on third down?
Showing man-to-man coverage at the bottom.
Sorsby across the middle, and it's caught by Tony Johnson. 8 yards and a first down.
Now that's faith. That's faith. You're throwing across the middle to a 5'10", 187-pound receiver, but he's from right here in Ocala, Florida. And Tony Johnson just plays hookup. Turn around, show your hands. And he had to climb the ladder for that one, but that's a terrific throw by Sorsby, knowing where the soft spot in the defense was, making the defense have to converge. That's a good play for a first down.
Sorsby connects with Johnson, coming off his best game of the year before the bye. Kiner sheds a tackler, sheds 2 of them. Can't do the rest of the UCF defense. It's a big drive for UCF's defense. A danger spot in the game, you think?
Yeah, it's a danger zone, really, because if the way that Cincinnati's playing right now, what is their their 5th play of the drive? But think about how this is going so far. They're eating up the clock, and they're playing keep away from UCF offensively. So how many opportunities does UCF get for the rest of this quarter, going into halftime. Also, Cincinnati gets the ball to start the second half, so this may turn into a game of possessions.
From right at midfield, Manny Covey gets a few yards. Third down and long as Covey gets his first touch. Had the 2-touchdown breakout at Texas Tech.
We're just started the second quarter, but yet Cincinnati's running this play clock down to inside of 10 seconds on every play. This is their game plan. They like the way the flow of this game is going so far. And another big third down here by Sorsby.
Bearcats 3 for 6 on third downs.
UCF showing pressure.
Sorsby got it away, and it's caught by Xavier Henderson. A free runner did get to Sorsby, but he found Henderson for 15.
That's a toughness throw because he knows he's going to get hit. You're going to try to block everybody, and they were able to except one. The ball placement by Sorsby. The ball was thrown to the outside. The inside defender couldn't get there in the outside corner. Remember earlier, Adams was able to go get the interception. That time the receiver ran him off, and he couldn't recover to make a play on the football.
Second catch for Xavier Henderson, the #1 wideout, who's had a big-time season. Sorsby rolls. Scanning, and he'll take off. Picks up a few at the 25. It's 6 yards, run out by Jamal Johnson.
And the clock continues to tick. That's 8 plays on this drive now. And they are in no hurry to hurry this thing up, right? They're going through their substitutions and start to look at the UCF defense. Right? A lot of guys, hands on the hips a little bit, looking around, kind of restless.
It's exactly what Brad Glenn, the offensive coordinator for Cincinnati, said to us this week as well. He said, we don't really want to be greedy and just take shots all the time. We want to control the football against UCF. Sorsby rolling, pressure coming, throwback screen. What a catch by Manny Covey. Banged down at the 15. How about the acrobatic grab from Manny Covey, the redshirt freshman?
Yeah, I think he was so excited he caught the football that he didn't read the blocks. An outstanding throw because the call was there. It's into a blitz. That's the perfect time for a screenplay. Covey caught the football, but had he read his blocks, he could have cut inside that, and there was nobody that would have touched him on the way to the end zone. Just watch how the blocks develop. If he puts a foot in the ground, cuts it back inside of the guard, he's got a touchdown.
Instead, a mouthful of Ethan Barr. First down, Sorsby, end zone, 1-on-1, incomplete. Tony Johnson might have been looking back into the sun there and was trying to locate.
Yeah, he sure did. He lost that one. He's still running. That ball was well underthrown. That's one that got lost in the sun here. 3:30 Eastern start. That sun starts to get a little low, and you can tell he's looking up for a football that just never came into his hands.
It's been a 9-play drive so far from the Bearcats. Trying to make it a 3-score lead on UCF. Play clock winding down on Sorsby. Slant through behind Royer, and off the deflection, it's intercepted. Ladarius Tennyson the pick, and it's the second one for UCF in the first half.
It just tips and overthrows. That ball's got to be in front of the tight end. It's thrown behind him, and that ball's up in the air, and Tennyson able to make the pick. Use his legs and all. UCF on the move. Yeah, I agree.
All right, so back in Orlando, they had a look at this to see if it was an interception. Indeed, what did you see from Tennyson?
Yeah, I agree. There's just not enough visual evidence to overturn the call on the field. I thought that throughout the process, the ball, you just can't tell did it touch the ground, did it not. He used every body part, hands, knees, legs, ankles. He was able to corral that football, but tips and overthrows, and Tennyson was Johnny on the spot.
Second time intercepted today off of Brendan Sorsby, who had only thrown 1 interception in his first 5 games in a Cincinnati uniform. Jakari Brown handles a low snap and handed it off to R.J. Harvey, as UCF's got to work from its own 3.
Yeah, and they've got to score too and get out of the shadows of their own end zone. So now you've got a quarterback situation in which Jakari Brown has taken over. We haven't seen E.J. Colson since maybe about 2 series ago. So right now it looks like Jakari Brown is taking over the snaps for UCF.
Brown rolls, wants an easy access throw, and he's got it to Javarius Johnson, who gets wrapped up. The Auburn transfer picks up 6 for Monty Arnold on the stop.
You're just trying to get out of the shadows of your end zone right now, Mike. And that's what these throws are, quick throws. You get Harvey to seal the edge and give them a lot of time for the quarterback Brown to make a play. But now this is a critical down here, 3rd and short. Either you're handing it off to Harvey or allowing Brown, which has been a successful play, using his legs in the read option.
Harvey's got 7 carries for 46 yards. Brown keeps, turns it upfield, and Jakari Brown's got a 1st down.
That's been the positive play, right? Either you hand it to Harvey or let the RPO game work itself out for Jakari Brown. Success in that play. We'll see more of it as he's the quarterback for UCF.
Played some 2 years ago at Miami as a freshman, made a couple of starts late in the year at Georgia Tech and at Clemson. Last year, his only significant work was in the bowl game for Miami against Rutgers. Clean pocket on 1st down all day, and zips one for Hudson. Out toward midfield, and a dot for 29.
And that's the next play. Explosive. We were talking about that. Where will the explosive plays come from? And that time, Jakari Brown able to deliver a strike for the big play, 29-yard gain.
Out to the 47. Brown keeps, jukes. Brown, a stiff arm, spun down by Antoine Peak, and a late flag comes in.
This, of course, collar tackle on Peak. He's looking around, looking for why the flag came in. And these officials are huddling right now. Did he have a hand on that neck plate, on that name plate in the back?
There is no foul for a face mask. The grab was on the shoulder. 2nd down.
Yeah, I saw it late in the down. Did he have a hand either on the face mask or the name plate? That's what they were looking at. Watch his Peak. He's already had the play early on, but he's got the name plate that still could have been in the area of a horse collar tackle.
Sure could have been. 2nd down and 6. Brown kept it, eludes Dingle and gets popped. Well, you can see Jakari Brown trying to create something. Ran into nothing there, and Jared Bartlett, and it's 3rd down.
That's his play, though, the RPO. He could do that one in his sleep. It's just about him getting the ball down the field. Because Cincinnati, they're going to continue to play some of that cover 2 and force or actually bring that extra player down. They're not going to play cover 2. They're playing cover 3, sending extra guys to the line of scrimmage and allowing UCF to try to throw the ball down the field.
UCF so far 2 for 5 on 3rd downs.
See the middle field safety, and they're inserting that safety, the opposite safety, down near the line of scrimmage.
Brown, flushed, on the move, gets away from Thompson. Brown using his legs, still on his feet, and finally down at the 20. You can see the confidence growing on this drive for Jakari Brown.
Well, they were looking for the spark, and I think that's just a spark. This is a spark that Jakari Brown brings to this football game. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. He's looking, and allows his athletic ability to take over, out-rushing the defense and picking up the 1st down.
He got 28. Now he pulls it, throws. Good adjustment on the catch by Javarius Johnson.
That's 2 explosive plays on this drive. You had the throw for 29, now a run for 28. That's what Coach Malzahn was preaching. He wants to see those X plays. Yeah, I don't know if Jakari Brown's played this much in a long time, but we'll see how his conditioning holds up in this game. But right now, an outstanding drive so far.
I mean, you can see it in his body language, the way he's finishing runs, the way he is turning upfield on those scrambles. No doubt has been waiting for this moment. UCF in the red zone. Harvey left side. Harvey a stiff arm, and he tumbles. Good tackle made by Logan Wilson. a loss of 3.
That was outstanding there. Logan Wilson, remember, he made the play earlier on a 3rd down, on the 4th down to get off the field. That time he went from showing off the coverage skills to the tackling skills in the open field.
We've got a stoppage here at the end of that run
After the play,
from R.J. Harvey.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 1, half the distance to the goal.
And they get an unsportsmanlike conduct against Cincinnati at the end of it.
Yeah, what would have been a 3rd and long, now automatic 1st down and half the distance to the goal.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
I believe they called Jordan Young.
Yeah, they get Jordan Young, the corner.
He's saying, my bad, my bad. I don't know what the my bad was for, but those types of penalties hurt your team, especially down here in the red zone.
So now it's 1st and goal from the 8 for UCF. Harvey up the middle, ducks to the 4. Golday on the stop. Jordan Young, top of your screen, the corner, number 1. Right there at the end zone.
Yeah, just a little no need for it. No need for it. I get it. You're hand fighting the whole play, but they're always going to get you late in the play like that. Happened way away from the football.
Guy who's had a really good year. Has improved a lot from last year, according to the staff. 11th play of the drive for the Knights. Harvey, a juke. Harvey cuts it back and he swarmed. Made a couple guys miss, but no more. 3rd down and goal.
You said it best, swarm. Look at all the white shirts with red helmets at the football at the end. It's not the first guy. It's always the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th guy who's able to bring down R.J. Harvey, an outstanding running back. But that's a nice job of team defense and swarming. If the first guy misses, the 2nd guy's got to clean it up. Nice job there by the Cincinnati defense.
Saw the helmet off for Jordan Young, and now he's crouched over on the sideline as well. Had to come out with the helmet off anyway.
We had a timeout for an injured
had
defensive
a very
player.
good year in Tyson Veit's defense in his 2nd year at Cincinnati after transferring in from Florida. We'll check on him when we come back. 2:03 left in the 1st half in Orlando.
Show you how Alabama survived a wild finish in Tuscaloosa. Trevor Maddich going to give us his thoughts on their performance today, plus a slow start for Quinn Ewers against Oklahoma and a really slow start for Penn State.
Tight end gets that one away and out to the 25. Coming up later tonight, number 9 Ole Miss squares off with number 13 LSU at 7:30 on ABC. And then to finish the night, 10:15 Eastern time over on ESPN. Colorado's in pretty good shape so far in the Big 12. They square off with number 18 Kansas State.
I can't wait, man. That's just so much college football, and it's not Separation Saturday yet, but we'll learn a lot more, especially this wide open Big 12, right? Especially both these teams we're watching here today, UCF, Cincinnati, still trying to stake claim and keep their name in the hat at the top of the leaderboard.
Play clock was winding down on Brendan Sorsby in Cincinnati. Boy, so coming off a kickoff, you start your 2-minute offense before halftime with the delay of game.
Yeah, that's on the quarterback. You've got to always keep your eye on that clock. So I put that one on the quarterback. Let's back him up 5.
A chance here for Cincinnati to go 2 for 1. Remember, they're getting it after halftime as well. They're up by 7. Sorsby, a little check down, and Joe Royer rumbles out past the 30. 11 yards for the tight end.
Think about it. It's 1st and 15. You're like, okay, we got to get the penalty yards back. And on 1st down, you pick up 11 to Joe Royer. Like, that's sort of the chemistry that these two have, quarterback, tight end. It's a luxury to know you can get positive plays when you're backed up.
Four-man rush. They set up a screen, and that got tipped by Malachi Lawrence, who recognized it and forces 3rd down, and that could have been worse for Sorsby.
That could have been a lot worse, but Malachi Lawrence able to see. Remember, he's 6'4", 250, so he's looking over the offensive line and say, wait, there's a bunch of guys starting to run by me, and was able to retreat, just get a paw up. If you can't get there, they say get your paw, like a big mitt, like a big bear, knock that one away. And now you got a 3rd and 4 for your defense.
And UCF still has 2 timeouts as well. Pressure comes. Quick release, and Sorsby got it away for a first down. On the perimeter to Tony Johnson. Tennyson made the stop.
Yeah, nice job on the quick hitter. You know, with it being 3rd and 4, it was just a quick 1, 2, 3, and throw. That's a nice rhythm timing. Receiver making his quarterback right.
Now past the 35. Sorsby, check down Kiner. Kiner trying to get to the edge, lowers his shoulder to the 46, and he gets 9.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Coach Satterfield hasn't called a timeout yet. You've got 3 of them to work with, and you're trying to preserve as much time as you can, but he's allowing the clock to continue to roll.
Yeah, clock had stopped there, and it was not a first down, so then they signaled to roll it, but it was not a first down. Royer to the edge makes a tough contested catch. He does go out of bounds, but the clock had stopped on a 9-yard pickup, and it was 2nd down and 1.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was stopped at 58 seconds, and I thought maybe I missed the timeout from Coach Satterfield. Clock now was running, but now with the out of bounds by Royer, you feel good. You're first and 10, all 3 timeouts left, and you're on the opponent's side of the 50.
So Cincinnati got a gift there. No need to use them if they're going to stop it for you on the road in Orlando. Plus territory, pressure picked up. Sorsby moves in the pocket, eyes downfield, throws into coverage, incomplete. Wanted Tony Johnson again. Sheldon Arnold in coverage.
Yeah, curious of why the clock stopped, but that far side official, he's waving his hands. I think he may have thought that was a first down pickup, and he actually signals. He signals. So I think he may have got lost on where he was at on the field. They were clearly a yard short. That stopped the clock, and didn't realize that, oh no, that wasn't a first down, and the clock's up. So kind of a gift timeout there.
Completely. Still at 43 seconds. You're past midfield and all 3 timeouts to use. Sorsby fires, incomplete. That one was too tall, intended for Sterling Burkhalter, and Tennyson popped him. But his helmet did come off ahead of 3rd down.
Yeah, that was a nice little fake, first of all, to try to move the safety. But that ball's too high. It's in the honey hole. You can't get that ball up. It has to be on him. If that ball is on him, he doesn't have to go up and go try to grab it. But leaving your wide receiver vulnerable in that situation, and Tennyson able to deliver the hit.
Some imprecision from Brendan Sorsby in this first half. 3rd down and 10. Knights showing pressure.
You get the audible at the line of scrimmage. They see the pressure, and now UCF backs out of the pressure.
Sorsby fires for Royer right near the sticks, and they will mark him very close.
I think they mark him short.
Just short, so the clock rolls.
Man, you got to call timeout if you're Satterfield, just to get a chance to think about it, or even see if they get a replay to stop the clock.
With 27 seconds until halftime.
Cincinnati has called the first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Ahead of 4th down in the first half. Kirk Morrison that has had all kinds of turnovers.
Well, the grass today has been in a situation that they've seen the football on the ground a lot. A couple of fumbles, interceptions. So it's been a fumble by Richardson. Sorsby threw an interception, and you had a fumble by Richardson on a passing play, and then Sorsby with another interception. That's what this half has really been about. Turnovers on both sides, but yet I give credit to UCF. Their red zone defense, they've been 1 of 3, meaning that they've only allowed 1 touchdown. Forcing field goals, that's why this game is where it's at 10-3. UCF's defense has been standing strong, standing tall in the red zone.
Is this an automatic go? You're at the far edges of field goal range, 4th down and 1, still have 2 timeouts.
Yes, correct. You're going for it here. I love the aggressiveness. We haven't seen them run the ball much on this drive, obviously, or sorry, the last 2 drives. So I would see this is a situation where you put the ball in Corey Kiner's hands, or you keep it with the quarterback, and still with 2 timeouts remaining.
Corey Kiner is the running back. on 4th down and 1, and Scott Satterfield came sprinting onto the field to call timeouts. Did they grant it to him?
I think they did. It was right here. You've got some little pushing and shoving because that was a late whistle. Late whistle. But I think they granted the timeout.
Rule: Cincinnati cannot call
Twice.
Oh. Please clock to 20. 4th down.
So yeah, you can't call consecutive timeouts.
That's the first thing I thought about. That actually should be a delay of game. It should be a 5-yard penalty on Cincinnati. That's the rule in the rule book. So that was a free stop of the clock. Again, that's 2 gaffes right here by the officials. That should have been, and if I'm Gus Malzahn, I should be upset. That should be a 5-yard penalty, delay of game by Cincinnati.
It was a rule change a few years ago that you can't call those consecutive timeouts, normally thought of for icing guys. And now, Gus Malzahn will counter.
7.5, 30-second timeout.
With his second timeout.
Yeah, interesting there. Interesting there. You cannot do that, but I'm trying to figure it out myself up here.
Well, let's gather our breath for a moment and we check out this week's college football rankings. Brought to you by Capital One. You got the Red River rivalry going on right now on ABC, and then a huge one tonight. Chip Kelly goes back to Oregon for number 2 against number 3.
Well, he's been back before. It's not like it's something new.
Yeah.
Okay, he was a coach at UCLA when they played against Oregon, but it's different now because he's got the Ohio State colors on. So be definitely watching that game 2 versus 3. Alabama survives. 4th and 1.
After a couple of attempted timeouts, Sorsby the keep. Sorsby up the middle, and he's got enough for a 1st down.
That's the gotta have it play, right, Mike? Gotta have it. Gotta have 1 yard. It's not Kiner. It's the quarterback, Sorsby.
And now Scott Satterfield takes a timeout.
Cincinnati has called their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So you've got 1 remaining. You're at the 37. Fresh set of downs. 25 seconds to work with for Cincinnati.
That's
and Satterfield confirming that he's got 1 timeout left.
Yeah, he shouldn't have 1 left. He shouldn't. They got a free timeout a little bit earlier, but that's neither here nor there. You move on. But with 25 seconds left and the 1 timeout, it tells me they can work the whole entire field, Mike. So they can go sideline, they can go middle of the field. And if you're a UCF defensively, nothing goes over your head. Keep everything in front of you. Continue to play the type of defense that we've seen in the first half, which is stingy near the red zone, because they're going to try to get a couple shots at the end zone.
You're already right on the edge of the career long for Nathan Hawks. And you have that timeout and 25 seconds to work with.
I love the attention they're putting to Kelly, the defensive end. They've got a tight end and a tackle lined up on him.
Left side. Sorsby across the middle. He's got it to Johnson. Inside the 25, a 1st down and 14.
That's the scary part when you're able to work the entire field because you've got time.
They go quickly and spike it, and Malachi Lawrence was getting back onside for UCF, so a flag's down on the near side of the field.
But the bigger thing is that it's a penalty, so the clock stops. So they get a two for one on that
number 51, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So they get the 5 yards and the clock stops. So they get the down back. You got to hustle up.
Some of the big bodies come off now for UCF in the heart of the defense. Lee Hunter and Ricky Barber. All kinds of oddities on this 2-minute drill that started with a delay of game after a touchback. And Cincinnati looking for points before halftime. Clock rolls for Sorsby. Moves in the pocket, fires for the end zone, incomplete. toward Jamoy Mays. And now just 5 seconds remaining.
And you got a kick here. It's not enough time. So you bring the field goal unit out. Not enough time left, even with the one timeout left. Too much time went off, and I think that's the learning part there here for Coach Satterfield. They're trying to say that the ball was already out of bounds, I think, and the time came off the clock. But there's not enough for one play.
He's saying what you're saying on the offsides penalty on UCF. He thought the ball would be spiked, or with the penalty on the defense that the clock would be stopped. They rolled the clock pre-snap, so you end up with just 5 seconds left.
Does that go like the pot calling the kettle black, or the black calling it? It's one of those things where they've got away with a couple of things on this drive, and now you have this.
Nathan Hawks from 36 misses wide right. So at the end of all of that, no points for anybody. And Scott Satterfield is still not happy about it, that the clock rolled ahead of the throw to the end zone from Brendan Sorsby.
I would love to hear what Coach Satterfield feels about that last sequence, especially coming away with 0 points, and he's still talking with the officials, because I was under the assumption you have the penalty on the defense. That keeps the clock stopped. But the official kept rolling the clock, but the clock was dead.
Or decline the penalty, you spike the ball anyway.
Absolutely.
And just take second down, a throw to the end zone, you try the field goal, or if you can get another playoff third down, and you still can kick it on fourth.
Yeah.
So, a lot
on the Cincinnati side. Brendan Sorsby, he had 1 interception coming into today. He threw 2 in the first half, and that's really uncharacteristic of Brendan Sorsby. That's why this game right now is the way it is in terms of points for Cincinnati. And on the opposite side, we came in with the news that KJ Jefferson, the quarterback for UCF, was not going to start this game. It's been 2 quarterbacks. E.J. Colson started the game, but it's been Jakari Brown who's taken over. Haven't seen Colson since the first quarter, but Jakari Brown, some outstanding numbers, 5 of 7, and he also ran the ball effectively for 57 yards. Probably going to see more of this offense moving forward with 2 different quarterbacks.
Don.
Yeah, guys, I'll tell you that you will see Brown, at least to start here in the second half for UCF. Gus Malzahn told me he really liked what he did in the first half. And, Kirk, you mentioned those yards he was able to get on the ground. He said, listen, they are taking R.J. Harvey away, and somehow we have got to find a way to run the ball. But he liked how Brown engineered the offense, how he was in control of the offense. So they will stick with him at least for the beginning of the second half. I'm going to tell you this, guys, though. That was a frustrated UCF sideline. There were tempers flaring, there were guys arguing, and there really wasn't anyone to step in and kind of settle it all down. So that's going to be key this half.
Yeah, we'll see, Don, in a 1-score game, like we said. Corey Kiner on the ground. All right, so the flip side of it, where we started with Brendan Sorsby, uncharacteristic to see the 2 interceptions, but Scott Satterfield had said to Don going to halftime, he felt like they moved the ball, they just made those couple of miscues.
Yeah, they moved the ball well, but they got down into that red zone, and I give UCF defensively props, right? That defense stiffened, only allowed the 1 touchdown, able to create a couple of turnovers. That's really the story, not converting drives into touchdowns, but UCF defense standing tall in the red zone.
Yeah, you talked about red zone throughout that first half. Kiner again, broke free, kept his footing, going backwards. Corey Kiner loses a boatload. Isaiah Nixon starts the loss of 8.
He started the party, right? He let everybody in. Number 6 at the bottom. Watch him go make the play. If you don't make it initially, make sure that everybody's able to go out and go make a play. Refuse to be blocked. I love saying that because coaches love when you refuse to be blocked, and he created an opportunity for his teammates.
Ted Roof, the defensive coordinator, told us yesterday the redshirt freshman Isaiah Nixon is ascending. He showed that in the first half as well. And now it's 3rd down and 15 for Cincinnati, and flags fly. Maybe on the center, Gavin Gerhardt.
Offense number 53, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Not the way the Bearcats wanted to come out of halftime. So you think about it, they had a chance to get points headed to halftime,
right,
and getting the ball coming out of it, but now you're staring down 3rd and a mile. They need the 5. Kind of runs over a tackler, and the pile pushes to the 27. 13 yards and 4th down and 7.
It's a physical run. You're not going to get the full first down, right? 3rd and long. But what you do is you deliver a message. Hey, we didn't have our best drive. Penalties killed that drive. Tackle for loss. But you know what? Let's run the football here on 3rd down. Let's play some good defense.
Trent Whittemore is back deep, ready to get it from Mason Fletcher. 4th year on the job as the punter for Cincinnati. Former All-American and Ray Guy Award finalist. And now we've got a discussion with the defensive line for UCF, Isaiah Nixon, from the officials. That was an interesting finish, officiating-wise, to the end of the first half. Fletcher gets it away. Whittemore filling in for Townsend. Flag flies, and Whittemore gets buried. Ball came out at the end, but they are marking him down as Jaden Perry, the long snapper, came down to make the play.
Yeah, they're going to get number 10. I think Derek Cantine. He went low on the gunner on the outside who's running down to make the play. You can't go low on a player who's running down to go make the tackle. So it just depends on what type of penalty will they call here, but definitely a penalty on number 10 on the gunner trying to go make a play.
So it's more sloppiness from Cincinnati out of halftime.
During the kick, personal foul, illegal block below the waist, number 16 of the receiving team. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced at the end of their kick. 1st down.
So they get it on the receiving team instead, and it'll back up UCF.
Yeah, I saw the number, but it's right on the left side of your screen. You can't do that. That's going to be a penalty every single time. And I think they still got the number incorrect.
Yeah, I think that's 10, Quadric Bullard.
Okay, so we got a bunch of different numbers. It's Quadric Bullard, to your point, Mike, the defensive back, 5th-year senior. You cannot do that. You can't go low on a player on the outside.
All right, so we got all that, everybody watching.
I think we're good. We had a stop before the play, then they actually punted, then we had another penalty. All right, let's stop with the penalties.
Let's
just
keep
take
it
a deep
moving.
breath. All right.
This has been bonkers. All right, UCF's down by 7. They get the football, and Don just told you a lot of Jakari Brown.
Yes.
You're just joining us. The Arkansas transfer, KJ Jefferson, benched today and replaced by E.J. Colson, but now Jakari Brown. Can I interest you guys in 2 more flags? How about 3 of them? Cam Kinney, the right guard.
Start. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And more shuffling for UCF on the offensive line.
Right.
Kinney had stepped in last week in Gainesville at center for Caden Kittler, who's still not 100%. Today, Kinney's at right guard, and Marcellus Marshall has come over from right guard to center. And relax, Cam, it's not that bad. It's just 5 yards. From the 11, the Knights will roll with Brown. Brown fires, and that's incomplete, intended for Kobe Hudson. Derek Cantine was in coverage.
Yeah, but Dante Corleone, he's the big fella, number 2. He was the one that was chasing down Jakari Brown. We haven't said his name much today, but number 2 in the middle, that's an NFL player right there. Big body, 6'1", 320. And he is unapologetic about getting to the quarterback.
The former All-American, nicknamed, of course, the Godfather, Dante Corleone. 2nd down and long. Brown pulls it. The slant's there for Hudson. Finally wrangled down past the 30 by Jordan Robinson, and it's Kobe Hudson for 23.
Perfect timing by Jakari Brown. He held the ball in there and made the cornerbacks, the safeties, everybody had to converge, and that opened a wide window for him to get that throw off.
Again, it had been just 5 for 9 through the first 5 weeks of the season off the bench in a couple of games for Jakari Brown, who's done it with his legs as well in his time. He's taken off here. Brown up the middle, and Brown is tough to bring down. He is a big body at 6'4", 220.
That's the element of the offense that he brings. right? That's the element that he brings. A little more explosive. They wanted this from KJ Jefferson earlier in the season. Just seemed to be a bit slow. And Jakari Brown, you can see the electric quarterback taking off and getting a first down.
Brown getting his chance. You had mentioned the explosives in the first half. Harvey lowers the shoulder, and R.J. Harvey is into plus territory. 9 yards. So let's zoom out a little bit with UCF. KJ Jefferson had struggled. You're seeing both quarterbacks today. What's this mean for UCF and where the rest of the season's headed?
It's a tryout. Today's a tryout. Who's the quarterback for the rest of the season? Right now, Jakari Brown is putting his name in the hat the way that the offense has moved efficiently while he's been under center. It looks explosive. They had 4 explosive plays offensively. It's what Gus Malzahn wants to see.
Second down and short. Harvey again. First down. Dante Corleone drags down Harvey.
Are you watching what the Cincinnati defenders are doing? They're ripping at the football every time. Watch the second and third defenders as they get to the ball. They've already created 3 fumbles today. Now 2 have been recovered, but they are raking at the football trying to get it out of these UCF pass catchers and rushers.
Tyson Veit's defense, the first-year defensive coordinator, took over for Brian Brown, who after a year went back to Ole Miss. Miles Montgomery couldn't escape. Good tackle by Josh Minkins.
Yeah, we've called his name a bunch today, right? He's had a deflection, a couple of deflections, I should say, and this is a big-time tackle. It only goes down in the book as a solo tackle, but man, it saved about 15, 20 yards of gain for UCF.
Missed some time early in the season when he got hurt in week 2 against Pitt. Brown pumps. Brown, deep shot. Whittemore, incomplete. Thrown behind Trent Whittemore, and Derek Canteen was retreating.
And what a play by Canteen. He was out of phase, Mike. So he's just trying to play catch up. And he gets all the way in, and at the last second, put the left hand in there to deflect that pass. Never looks back, never locates the football. He does a great job of playing the hands of the receiver. That's an outstanding job by Canteen, out of phase, and just playing the hands of the receiver, Whitmore.
Captain and a transfer from Virginia Tech who we really enjoyed chatting with, has grown into such a leader immediately after arriving. Now it's third down. Brown on the move. Jakari Brown with a first down and more. Bumped out of bounds at the 20. 25 yards for Jakari Brown.
That's when you make something out of nothing. It's the pressure package. But Jakari Brown's able to find the outlet. There's an open door. Oh, I'll take the open door to the left. And there's nobody for the defense there. And you see the ability, the running ability of Brown take over, picks up the first down easily.
He's carried it, you see, 8 times for 91 yards.
And he's the leading rusher today for both teams.
The guy who had played 29 snaps all season before today. Harvey with a cut toward the 15. And so UCF managed before halftime and now out of halftime to keep it a 1-score game. You're within striking distance. Brown can use his legs when it looked like in the first half they could have been trailing by a lot and forced to throw a lot more.
He's made Coach Malzahn right. And I think that's what Coach is saying. He wants guys who can make plays in these situations. There are going to be some great defensive plays by Cincinnati, but it's been the off-schedule plays of Brown that has kept these drives alive.
Brown, slant, Hudson, a touchdown. UCF can tie with an extra point.
It's perfect timing by Brown. You see how he keeps his eyes down the field, and he holds that ball in there until the running back holds it as long as he could. And at the last second, he's able to deliver a strike to Hudson. Look at all the attention that R.J. Harvey gets at the line of scrimmage. Brown pulls that football and delivers a strike to Hudson for the touchdown.
Reddick knots it up at 10. And you saw the flexing from Jakari Brown. A transfer who comes in from Miami and getting a chance here in week 7 at his new school. And Jakari Brown did it with his legs and then zipping one in to Kobe Hudson.
Another so-so pizza from So.
Celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Back at the bounce house, and Evan Morris ready to get it away for UCF.
They're bouncing now. They get a touchdown drive. This place is now lit.
Morris, a converted tight end who does both, has a touchback. Cincinnati football when we come back to Orlando. Thoughts to everybody affected. Changed up the practice schedule for UCF today. They had a morning walkthrough, a rarity on game day. And they have tied this game early in the second half. Brennan Sorsby to the sideline. Nice tiptoe catch made by Barry Jackson Jr. for a dozen.
Yeah, that's a good drive starter right there. If you're Cincinnati, you want to get back to what you saw earlier in that first half. They were doing some things offensively that they were about 50-50. They were running the football, converting on third downs, and they just haven't had that conversion our last couple drives of the first half and to start the second half.
Coaches had talked to us this week about how cleanly they had played on offense. That's not been the case so far in this one through 37 minutes. Corey Kiner weaving through. Good gain on first down for 5.
That may be a heavy dose of Corey Kiner the rest of this game. I think that he's going to settle down Brennan Sorsby. He hasn't been himself, and I'm talking about the quarterback. The 2 interceptions, maybe not seeing the field how he normally would, but Corey Kiner is the running back that can settle you. When you're able to get 5 yards on first down, 4 or 5 yards, that settles the quarterback and gives him some options on second down.
Kiner entered today averaging 6.2 per carry, had 100-yard games against Pitt and Miami, Ohio. So they feed him again, but he gets stacked up by Josiah Pierre, the 6th-year senior backup linebacker, and it's third down.
I'm a little surprised that Sorsby hasn't really thrown the football deep down the field. Because if you're watching UCF's defense, they're stacking the box. They're putting an extra player in there to stop the run. They're inviting the big play from Cincinnati, but just haven't had the time to get it down the field.
Third down, press coverage on the outside, and again, UCF showing heat. The Bearcats are 6 for 10 on third downs. The blitz comes. Sorsby stands in and he fires complete. Tony Johnson on the move with a first down inside the 40. 22 yards on the third down pickup.
It was the gamble by Braden Marshall, number 4. He's staring back at the quarterback. He dove to knock the ball away. See how he stares at the quarterback and he tries to knock it away. He misses, and if you miss, there's the big play. Tony Johnson converting on third.
He's got 5 for 51, and now Joe Royer slipped a tackle, and Joe Royer picks up a first down. There you go. Now Sorsby's throwing the ball.
That's the size of Royer. 6'5", 255. He caught that one immediately, went into the spin move, the spin cycle, and he got out of the tackle of number 9, Sheldon Arnold. Just missed him. You forget how big he is, trying to tackle that big tight end, and he steps out of that tackle and gets a nice gain. He's one of the leading receivers of this game so far. 6 catches for the all-everything tight end, Joe Royer,
who had 4 catches in 4 adversity-filled years at Ohio State. Evan Pryor, fellow former Buckeye. Not much. Lee Hunter at 320 pounds, the redshirt junior defensive tackle on the stop. Ted Roof was looking for better out of the UCF defense today. He told us yesterday that they've been up and down. He said it had been a roller coaster. But they have picked Sorsby a couple of times, and they've brought more pressure and gotten home more than they have.
Yeah, they've been able to confuse him a little bit. But this is the area of the field where Cincinnati has struggled. When they get inside the 30-yard line, as they near the red zone, this UCF defense has been outstanding.
Sorsby under pressure, and down he goes. Jamal Johnson the sack. Third down.
You talk about coming all the way around the hump. I sure do. When I'm talking about Jamal Johnson, he's going to start all the way up top and then circle all the way underneath. That's an outstanding job by this defensive front. They sold out and were able to get the play. I said it before, this defense stands up as they get ready for the red zone.
5 sacks now this season. Third down and long. Play clock at 2. Sorsby will be conservative. Quarterback draw, he slides at the 32. Lee Hunter the stop. Your field goal right now would be about 50.
That tackle by Hunter was a violent tackle, and Sorsby felt all of it. He stayed down on the ground for quite a bit. Number 2 in the middle of your screen, big Lee Hunter. He's 6'4", 320 with a violent tackle around the neck of Sorsby.
Sorsby might have taken a knee as well on that right side. So from 51, Nathan Hawks comes out. Has missed from 36. Has supplanted Carter Brown this year. Hawks' kick is on its way, and Nathan Hawks drills it with room to spare. From 51, his third make this year from 50 plus. Bearcats lead.
The WNBA Finals, presented by YouTube TV, Sunday.
River rivalry. Des Reed's got a pair of touchdown runs for the unbeaten Pitt Panthers over on ESPN, and 2 touchdown runs for Isaac Brown has Louisville up on the ACC network. Mike.
All right, so Kevin, 4 ranked teams you saw right there. We were just talking about the playoff. These are 2 programs that know all about the playoff and New Year's Six Bowls, and they kind of stretch the limits of what the Group of 5 was capable of.
Yeah, they are the poster child of the Group of 5, now playing on the Power 4 level in the Big 12.
In year 2 for both of them. Kobe Hudson off the quick hitter from Jakari Brown. It's a first down.
The attention that the linebackers and safeties are giving to this offense because of R.J. Harvey in the backfield and the running ability of Jakari Brown has now helped out the passing game.
4 for 70 for Hudson. Harvey up the middle. Half a yard.
We've done a Wake Forest game this year earlier. And I know we're in Big 12 country, but we've been in the ACC. It reminds me right now, the offense, of that lag, that long delayed RPO game where it's a late, and it's forcing Cincinnati to show its hand, and Jakari Brown has the ability to make the play.
And this is back to being Gus Malzahn's offense this year. He's taken over play calling duties again this season after he didn't have them last year. Brown under pressure immediately and dropped. Jake Golday on the sack, and it's third down.
Yeah, Golday said, I've had enough. I've had enough with you doing what you're doing. He's going to come from the outside and just watch. He's like, phew, this is how you get shot out of a cannon. This is a definitive play. He came and it was like, I don't care who's in my way. I'm going straight for the quarterback, and I'm bringing you down.
It's a guy who showed up as a defensive end at FCS Central Arkansas at 190 pounds. Only last year did he move into an off-the-ball linebacker role, and now he transfers up. Third down and 19 for the Knights. 4-man rush. Brown with time. Now he rolls. He pumps and just has to get rid of it. Golday didn't bite on the pump fake. Fourth down, and UCF's got a punt.
Yeah, that's the Golday drive. That was a Golday drive defensively. Made the outstanding play for the sack, and then being able to stay in the zone, didn't bite on the play like you mentioned, and was able to escort Jakari Brown to the sideline as he threw the ball away.
So Mitch McCarthy's got to come out. Jamoy Mays is ready to get it. Standing back at his 24. Some shuffling pre-snap and a couple of flags.
Yeah, looks like left
Ball
tackle.
start. Number 16, 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
It's been a battle for field position so far in this third quarter. 8th penalty on UCF. McCarthy gets it away. Mays signals for the fair catch. Well, we do it every week. We send Detective Don on the prowl to teach us something.
Yes, guys. How about something about the bounce house? Have you ever wondered why it's called that? I dug into this one, guys. Stadium opened here in 2007. The then 6th-ranked Texas Longhorns came to town, and on the very first UCF touchdown in this place, over 46,000 jumped up and down to celebrate, causing the stadium to actually bounce. You could actually see it in the press box. And guys, stadium was built with steel beams instead of concrete, so that's why UCF had engineers come in and they reinforced those beams. It's safe, but guys, you might feel a little movement up there, a little shaking and baking.
Oh, it was bouncing after that first drive for UCF to start this half, getting a touchdown.
Corey Kiner gets dropped immediately by X-Ray Alexander.
They're trying to get into it, right? They're a little restless. They want to see more offense, but it's been the defense that is keeping them in this football game right now.
And they're doing it without Ethan Barr, one of their top players. Guy who wears the green dot. 5th-year senior Mike linebacker, who we saw go over to the sideline in some sort of apparent discomfort in the first half, and he's come out in street clothes here in the second half. So more of Josiah Pierre. We saw Alexander in on that stop. Sorsby under pressure, got it away to Royer. Wide open Joe Royer. Out of bounds past the 50, picks up 19.
I call Joey Royer Mr. Everything, or not your average Joe again. He just lines up right here and no one sees him. He just goes like this. No one sees him. You got to keep 2 sets of eyeballs on number 11, especially when he's right there. Nobody picks him up. Joe Royer is in line as a tight end, but the action in the backfield had everyone going toward the quarterback and Kreiner. Nobody was there for the tight end Royer.
That's the end of the third quarter. Timeout.
Joe Royer has been big for Cincinnati all day. Scott Satterfield's got a field goal from Nathan Hawks, and they need it because UCF has mounted a comeback. Kobe Hudson here in Orlando as we go
into the 4th. What do you have to do to finish?
Our defense is bad. We got to go score points. You know, they're kind of putting everything up. We're going to have to throw the football. We got to get R.J. Harvey going.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
They've had a couple of sacks and forced a couple of interceptions from Brendan Sorsby. He's got Cincinnati at midfield, and Corey Kiner's got nothing on first down. You got a Cincinnati team already with as many overall wins and conference wins as it had last year, going up against UCF, who's played a 2nd string and a 3rd string quarterback today after KJ Jefferson got benched.
It's just been a different game plan, I thought, entering the game now for Cincinnati defensively. And now offensively, you've got to adjust because your quarterback is throwing a couple interceptions. So what do they lean on here in the 4th?
4-man rush. Sorsby fires. And to the 40, it's Jamoy Mays for 9. 3rd down and short.
If Mays realizes where he's at on the field, he catches that and goes north and gets the first down. He tries to make something happen after the catch. He retreats and actually takes himself out of a first down opportunity. So now this creates 3rd and short. They huddle. They're got to have the play has been with the quarterback Sorsby today. So I would imagine that they keep the ball in the hands, either the quarterback or hand it off to R.J. Harvey. To Corey Kreiner.
Francis Sherman comes in as a 2nd tight end beside Royer right side. Here it is, Sorsby up the middle, didn't get there. Sheldon Arnold made a great play, and it's 4th down.
There's only 2 people who are going to touch the ball, either Kreiner or Sorsby. And the defense knew that, and they keyed in on who? The quarterback. They knew it, they waited for it, and they were right there seeing guys create havoc. Arnold just kind of throwing his body around in there, just causing a pile.
Same idea, one of those 2 guys?
Same idea, same thing.
On 4th down and 2, a flag. A couple of them.
False start. Offense, multiple players on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So they call too many men on the line of scrimmage. That takes them out of possibly going for it now, because I see the punt team huddling up. And if you're a UCF, number one, you put punt safe out there. So punt safe is, hey, everybody, we're in a danger zone in terms of them possibly trying to fake this. So watch out. Keep your eyes peeled for everything in this situation.
Yeah, so I think they're saying that the guys on the left side moved before the snap had gone from Gavin Gerhardt. And so 4th and 6, punt group comes out. And Fletcher does get it away toward Trent Whittemore, who will let it drop inside the 10. Cincinnati downs it at the 1. Perfectly executed by Malzahn. Will try to direct his offense after he has taken over play calling duties again this year. We asked him yesterday when he knew last year he needed to be more involved. He got very honest with us. He said 2 years ago when he almost lost his wife, Christy, it was at that point he decided to pull back, spend more time with her. But last year he felt the personality of his team and his offense was getting away from what he wanted, so he wanted to take back over. He's going to try to direct a 99-yard drive here. It starts out with nothing doing for R.J. Harvey. And I love the way the defensive coordinator for UCF, Ted Roof, put it to us that Gus Malzahn decided when he steps in the batter's box, he's going to swing the bat the way he wants to swing the bat. And he's going to call this game with 12 minutes to go the way he wants to, with the quarterback he decided on this week. Jakari Brown rolling and throwing, and too tall for Javarius Johnson. Easy access, but a miss, and it's 3rd down.
It's easy access, but could have been a huge explosive play. They had the nice route combination that actually shielded one of the defenders. So if they catch that football, he's able to run for quite a ways because nobody was around in the vicinity. Just watch the screen. You get a little rub route by Hudson, and that could have created a huge gain on the outside.
And now this is treacherous.
Yeah, you're backed up. You need to get something because you don't have enough for your punter to even punt the football.
From the 1, Jakari Brown with time. Brown on the move, gets out of the end zone and gets cracked down shy of the 10. Jared Bartlett the lick after 7. Helmet off for Jakari Brown. 4th down.
Wow. Amazing for what Jakari Brown was able to do. This is a lot of running in the backfield, and you're wishing no one holds in the end zone because you get a safety on the penalty. But Jakari Brown actually makes a positive play and gives his punter enough room now to line up at the depth that he needs to make this punt. Had that ball stayed at the 1-yard line on an incompletion, not enough, and you send the punt block unit if you're Cincinnati.
Eyeing Mitch McCarthy. A few strides in front of the back of the end zone. McCarthy gets it away to Jamoy Mays at his own 48. 44-yard punt. Excellent field position for Cincinnati. Up by 3 early on in the 4th.
Duluth
right away, right now, first play. And look where you're at on the field. I think you dial up a shot play just to try to push this defense back. Look, they're crowding the box. It's just been about the run game. I would try to take a shot right away.
Sorsby instead, quick one for Tony Johnson, spinning away along the sideline, and he's got a 1st down. He's been shifty, and it's 13 yards for Tony Johnson on his 6th grab.
Yeah, he's quick. 5'10", 187. He had a tough catch over the middle earlier. And this one, it's always difficult to kind of contort your body as you catch. And he caught the football, but the momentum of him spinning allowed him to get north and get the 1st down.
Scott Satterfield told us this week that Tony Johnson, the Florida Atlantic transfer, has really emerged the last couple of weeks. Showing that again today. From inside the 40, Kiner spins away from the tackle of his old teammate Deshaun Pace. Deshaun Pace, the 5th-year senior who transferred to UCF from Cincinnati, and had a session in the meeting room on Monday with his current defensive coordinator, Ted Roof, to go through all the personnel on Cincinnati's offense.
Right, not necessarily the offense of what the offense is going to be, but the personality of a lot of the players. So just say, I know what this guy can do. You know, he's more of a long catch guy. This guy's more of a blocker. Hey, if you get into this guy's pads, you can really, you know, control him. That's kind of maybe how the meeting went.
He said one guy's nicknamed Motion because all he does is motion. Second down, Sorsby. Mays breaks a tackle and goes spinning down inside the 25. So it hasn't been Xavier Henderson, but it has been Tony Johnson, Jamoy Mays, and of course, Joe Royer.
You see how Mays, the coaching point, remember on the previous drive, he caught the pass, went backwards, and he was 1 yard short of the first down. He went to the sideline. He was coached up because he caught that pass, and what did he do? He went north. So that's a great learning and teaching point right there by Mays, learning and overcoming an earlier mistake on the previous drive.
Fresh set of downs for the Bearcats, trying to make this a 2-score game. Soaking time off this fourth quarter clock. Sorsby for Royer, barreling forward, and Joe Royer takes it to the 16.
Good old tight end delay. That's a tight end delay. Everybody runs off. They're running 9 routes, getting the defense to sink, and Royer waits about a half a beat. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, and then just takes off. That's an easy throw. It's almost like a delayed screen, but it's more just an easy throw of showing your hands as the defense sinks into coverage.
8 grabs, 84 yards for Joe Royer. Evan Pryor follows Royer, but gets buried by Exree Alexander for a loss of 1. And now it's third down.
Yeah, Exree Alexander, he's in for Ethan Barr. You talked about who's out right now. You talk about putting your face in there. This is what you call putting your face in there. That means the linebacker come in and boom, put the face in there. That's how you go out and make a big play in the backfield. Exree Alexander.
Critical third down for the Cincinnati offense. Pryor, the running back. Sorsby. Johnson breaks a tackle and a first down. Tony Johnson got away from Sheldon Arnold, and it sets up first down and goal.
It's the strength of Johnson, but the ability to stop. Right, he's
Officials
going full speed.
For injured offensive player.
He's going full speed. He realizes I'm not going to have the first down, but the awareness to stop, cut it back, make a guy miss, and pick up the first down.
Tony Johnson, you saw, is down after this. He's got 7 for 71. Move the chains here. We'll check on Johnson when we come back. Cincinnati wide receiver Tony Johnson's had a big day, and he's up and moving on the sideline. Might have got the wind knocked out of him, and while he was getting some attention, so too was the helmet of Brendan Sorsby. The earpiece, the green dot. Welcome to college football this year. First and goal, he rolls out. He finds Mays, who gets submarined inside the 5. We didn't have that problem in college football last year. A new battery, a new earpiece, whatever it is for Sorsby.
Yeah, sometimes those earpieces are just not working. And so you need to have it switched out. There's multiple helmets. But remember, only one guy can have that green dot right there on the back of the helmet. And Sorsby right now, he's letting his coach know. That little thumbs up at the end says, hey, I got it. Because I don't think they were probably getting those play calls in.
Just cuts off right now at 15 seconds on the play clock from Scott Satterfield to Brendan Sorsby. Sorsby pulls it, wants Mays, back of the end zone, incomplete. Mac McWilliams in coverage, third down.
Yeah, that one's just a little too high there. And it's one of those situations where Sorsby has to figure it out, or they've got to do something a little bit different. You got to give your quarterback some room to operate, some space for him to throw the football. That's the second time I've seen that, where there's just nowhere for him to go with it. Has to be a perfect pass.
You got trips left, including the tight end Joe Royer, 11 and white. Xavier Henderson one-on-one to the right.
I still think the quarterback keeps it.
Sorsby to the air. Corner route caught for a touchdown. Tony Johnson with the Cincinnati touchdown to make it a 2-score game.
It's how do you create space? He's going to get here, here, and this guy acts like he's going here, and it's just an outstanding route. You got guys who are going one way, and then boom, you put two, and you got to cover. Which one do you cover? And that's an easy throw to the back of the end zone for a touchdown.
Brendan Sorsby steps up, and then the extra point is missed by Nathan Hawks. Right off the right upright, and yeah.
The Bearcat, I feel you. Those are supposed to be automatics.
So Sorsby connects with Tony Johnson back into the game. He had the third down pickup and the touchdown grab as well.
Yeah, I almost think the way the route combination happened, I think the tight end Royer went the wrong way, because he's running a whip route, but you're trying to create an area in space. So you think the two outside guys go inside, which creates the space for the inside guy for the touchdown.
And then Nathan Hawks plunks one. So 9-point margin, 6:32 to go. Cincinnati widens the gap here on the road in Orlando.
And this is the way it's now set up. No KJ Jefferson at quarterback. I think you can see him in the background over here helping out the young quarterback, because Jakari Brown is going to have to make some plays with his arm. He's doing a great job. He's our leading rusher in the game today with 89 yards, but he's going to have to take over with his arm the rest of the game.
UCF on the return. And Christian Peterson gets swung down. Hey, coming up later tonight, number 9 Ole Miss takes on number 13 LSU in Death Valley at 7:30 on ABC. And our night is capped off with Shadur Sanders, the Buffaloes, Coach Prime, hosting number 18 Kansas State in Boulder at 10:15 Eastern on ESPN. Let's go down to Don.
Yeah, guys, Jakari Brown came off the field after their last drive, went straight to coach and said, that was on me, patted his chest, and it's been interesting to watch him get even more comfortable in this game. He's communicating with his teammates more, and obviously this is a crucial drive here.
Yeah, you had that miss to Javarius Johnson on second down when they were backed up at the 1. Play clock winding down, and it's a delay of game on Jakari Brown in UCF.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Those are drive killers. Those are drive killers, especially when you're developing this offense under Jakari Brown. He hasn't played enough football for you to go and start 5 yards further than you're supposed to. So that's a critical penalty in a critical moment of this game.
R.J. Harvey, big gain off the left side. Harvey upfield, past the 40. UCF needed that in a major way.
Wow, that was a huge run because they stuck to it. I give Gus Malzahn credit. A lot of people would panic, start to turn this thing into a passing game. He keeps them on the ground to Harvey for a gain.
Now Brown to throw. Pressure from Corleone, and the Godfather drags him down.
It's the big fella in the middle. And he didn't run through. He showed off some nifty moves underneath. It was the quick twist by the big fella. He's going to come around. Watch the twist by the big fella. Going to make a play. It's an outstanding job by Corleone. So, hey, look, he shows the inside move and gets all the way around and sacks the quarterback, man. That's a Sunday play right there from Corleone.
Look how he massacred him. Dante Corleone sets up second down. It's a check down from Brown to Harvey out of the backfield. Lowers the shoulder, and R.J. Harvey took on Josh Minkins head on for 11. Third down.
That's a big pickup on second down. I mean, you had the sack, and you've got them backed up, but to be able to get some of that yardage back on a check down play. Remember, UCF now in 4-down territory the rest of the game. Being down 2 scores, you don't have a lot of time. So This is 4-down territory if they don't get it here on 3rd down.
With 5 minutes to go, down by 9. On the ground, broken tackle by Harvey, and then he got dragged down just past the 50 by Simeon Coleman. 4th down, and the offense, of course, as you said, staying out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you may think about going back to the same play. You can see Cincinnati trying to get the right defense on the field. Plenty of time on the play clock. Can Jakari Brown make a play here on 4th down?
With UCF at a crossroads in its season. 4th down and 2. Brown the rollout to throw downfield. Chauncey Magwood the catch. His first catch of the season is gigantic.
You always got to keep the antennas up, but what happened? Jakari Brown was where? Under center, antennas up. They are never under center, and they find a way to get the play action for the deep pass down the middle of the field.
And now Brown gets side-swiped by Jaquan Sanks. What a moment to put him under center, and what a moment for Chauncey Magwood, 2nd year after transferring in from Kentucky. Only his 13th career catch, and as we said, #1 this season. Brown, flush, elusive, and Brown goes out of bounds right around the 10.
I mean, going back to that critical 4th down conversion, the old linebacker in me is starting to yell like, hey, under center, because they don't go under center. So for him to go under center, that means something different. That means that they're doing something down the field. And then what a call by Gus Malzahn on 4th down a couple plays ago to keep this drive alive.
Still have 3:20 to go. 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute timeout. Down by 2 scores. 3rd down and 5. Brown to throw. Brown steps up. Brown takes off. He gets wrapped up by Dante Corleone for a loss. Another Corleone sack, and it's 4th down, and it forces Gus Malzahn to use a timeout.
Yeah, I love the peekaboo rush. I call it a peekaboo
Central
rush.
Florida has called the first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
It's called peekaboo because they're not rushing to try to get the sack.
Timer, please put 3:02 on the clock. 3:02. Thank you.
They're just trying to peek and find the quarterback, because what's hurt them on this drive is the legs of the quarterback extending plays. So you change up the rush, and that's one of Corleone's strengths, of being able to control an offensive lineman in front of him and disengage and go make a play.
The former All-American has stepped up on this drive, and now you're down by 9. You need 2 scores. You still have 3 minutes left, 2 timeouts, plus the 2-minute timeout. And the field goal unit comes out. Is that the right call for you?
Yeah, that's the right call. I think you know it's a 2-score game. At least get what's there for you right now, which is the 3. And now you're going to hold out for your defense to have to make a stop.
Again, this is Grant Reddick, redshirt freshman from 29. Has taken over for Colton Boomer, who's transferring. And Grant Reddick is good. So it's a 6-point game with 3 minutes to go. Well, the Lynx won a thriller in overtime Thursday in Game 1 of the WNBA Finals. And we've got Game 2 tomorrow as the Liberty look to bounce back. Coverage starts with WNBA Countdown at 2:30, and then the game starts at 3 Eastern on ABC and the app. Courtney Williams was excellent, 95-93 in overtime in Game 1.
I want another one of those, please. Can we have another one? Another one of those overtime thrillers. Comes down, Brianna Stewart's fouled at the end, and it goes into overtime, and you just find a way. The Lynx, that's one of the reasons why they're consistently in the finals, is because of that reason. Their heady toughness. They know how to win the close games.
And Scott Satterfield in Cincinnati trying to do just that here today. They're up by 6, 3 minutes to go. And Evan Morris comes out for the kickoff. Remember, this guy's a tight end, but he has taken over the kickoff duties with the departure of Colton Boomer. This guy's also getting snaps at tight end. He's their kickoff guy as well. And he aligns UCF. Ready to send it deep for the Knights. Logan Wilson watches this one sail for a touchback.
Just looking at Brendan Sorsby from the first half to the second half. First half, threw a couple balls up in the air, intercepted, right? It was just off. It was behind the receiver. Both times he was trying to go to Joe Royer, but it was the tips and the overthrows in the first half that have now changed, because in the second half he seems to be more direct and has been able to make some outstanding throws, and this is the reason why his teammates have fallen in love with him. It's being able to shake off the first half woes, and he's been a much different quarterback in this second half.
And now he operates with a 6-point lead. 3 minutes to go. Cincinnati's only getting 2.9 yards a carry. Corey Kiner on the ground, spins away and drags defenders for 9.5.
9 yards on first down. That's a backbreaker for a defense. You get 9 yards on first down, because now it puts Gus Malzahn and also UCF in sort of this pickle. Do we call the timeout now? Do we let it run down to the 2-minute warning? You just gave away 9 yards. So you're not backed up, and it's almost a wasted timeout if you use one here.
Cincinnati can snap it down right before 2:10 remaining on the game clock here in the fourth.
If they get a stop here, UCF, I'd call it immediate timeout, because you get a free one with a 2-minute timeout.
Kiner a first down. Out to the 40. Corey Kiner with 15 yards on these two totes.
That'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. It's you get back-to-back runs of 5 or more. That's a pretty easy opportunity for an offense to just keep on rolling, keep on going, and watching that clock get to 2 minutes.
And you saw that motion from Brendan Sorsby, trying to salt it away for Cincinnati. He's been fiery. UCF has hung around in the fourth. Back at the bounce house in Orlando with 2 minutes to go in regulation. Cincinnati up by 6 on UCF and trying to salt this away. UCF needs a stop. Cincinnati's been leaning on Corey Kiner. Kiner again off the right side with room, and Kiner goes somersaulting past the 45 for 7.
That's just deflating to a defense. That's a first down play, and they're getting 5 or more. That's a 6-yard gain. Now you get the timeout. But man, that's just a backbreaker for a defense.
Florida has called their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. Timer,
well,
please
Cincinnati's
reset the game
in
clock
another
to
close game.
1:55.
They've got 2 losses this season, and they're 6 points away from being undefeated, because you go back to week 2 against Pitt, they had the huge lead of 20+ in that one. But Ben Sauls came out at the end with 17 seconds remaining for a 1-point loss for Cincinnati. Then last game before this one, before the bye week for the Bearcats, 44-41 in Lubbock. Brendan Sorsby found Jamoy Mays, but Nathan Hawks missed it from 51 trying to tie.
And you love what Coach Satterfield has told his team. We are 4 points away from being 5-0. And they believe that. They truly believe that they haven't played their best football, that they know that they're better than what they've shown. And it's those moments that you mentioned in those 2 losses that are going to help them, especially in a game like right now in this critical second down.
There's a little flip on the move. Jamoy Mays cutting upfield, gets brought down with no gain. So Josiah Pierre gets the stop. Gus Malzahn takes his final timeout, and an all-important third down will follow.
Their third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And remember, both these teams came in 1-1 in a Big 12 that came into the year feeling like there was so much depth and parity, and it still feels that way.
It does feel that way, but BYU, Iowa State, 2 teams that have really taken over this league. Rocco Beck at Iowa State. Arizona State's big win last night over Utah. And then tonight we get the showdown. Kansas State, Colorado, Avery Johnson versus Shedeur Sanders. Throw a little Travis Hunter in there. It's going to be fun tonight. This Big 12 has been absolutely amazing. It is not top heavy. everybody feels like they've got a shot to win this one. Rather, much different than maybe some other conferences.
And right now with 1:51 to go, a gargantuan 3rd down and 3 for Cincinnati.
So we've seen in the gotta have it moments, it's been Sorsby, the quarterback. I think this time you hand it off to Corey Kiner. See if he can get you some tough yards.
It is Kiner. Blown up by Lawrence. X-Ray Alexander follows, and it's 4th down.
I love the play call, but I love the play call on both sides. Offensively, you give it to your best player, Corey Kiner. He was hitting the backfield. Great penetration by Malachi Lawrence as he was able to come off the edge and then just create havoc, create a pile, create chaos, and let the rest of your team come out and make a play. It's a much-needed play. Huge play for that defense to at least give their offense an opportunity.
Play clock's down at 5 for Cincinnati, getting the punt unit out on the field with Mason Fletcher, and they'll just take the 5 yards.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty. 4th down. Please put 1:03 on the game clock, 1:03.
So it'll be a minute to work with for UCF.
Probably a little less than that, depending on what Whittemore does. Sometimes you tell your punt returner, I don't care, I don't want to return. Just get it, wave the fair catch signal to preserve any amount of time left on the clock.
Mason Fletcher got it away. That was dangerous. Whittemore signals for the fair catch at the 19. It's a 44-yard punt, and UCF, with a backup quarterback, will have to march 81 yards.
81 yards, 58 seconds left, no timeouts. That's the situation. On the opposite side, Cincinnati has all 3 timeouts.
Let's go back to the end of this. Mason Fletcher thought that he got hit. Is there enough there for running into the kicker? The threshold for roughing is forcible contact. That wasn't. Is there enough for running?
I think maybe running into the kicker could have been called there.
But it wouldn't have made a difference.
But it would have made a difference. But I think in that situation, the officials, they're realizing the moment, the time of that game, I don't think that rose to the level of a penalty.
So 81 yards in 58 seconds for Jakari Brown. To the air with time to throw. He'll check it down. He's got a completion. And out to the edge, R.J. Harvey got out of bounds. Hit out at the 40 by Antoine Peak after 21.
That's just a bad job by Jordan Young. He doesn't protect the sideline. And number 1 has to always guard the sideline for that type of play. UCF, they're trying to catch the football and either get down right away or get out of bounds.
From the 40. Brown fires across the middle for Hudson, and Hudson will go down at the 38.
That's 2 plays, big plays. See how Hudson went down? The clock stops, and now you have the opportunity to clock it or call another play.
Inside of 40 seconds to go, and now we've got flags. And it's on UCF.
I think it's an illegal formation. See 2 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage. One has to be off. Or do they get on the opposite side? Illegal substitution. Thought I saw too many guys on the line of scrimmage for an illegal formation.
They'll talk things over before the announcement from Steve Barron.
False start, offense, number 2, 5-yard penalty, 1st down. This foul also includes a 10-second runoff. Timer, please reset the game clock to 26 seconds.
That is devastating for UCF, the penalty and the 10-second runoff. And now you got to be ready to go on the reset.
Yeah, that was Hudson. He was trying to get off the line of scrimmage on the previous play, but in doing so, the ball was snapped, which results in the false start.
So the clock rolls. Pressure comes. Picked up. Brown got rid of it, incomplete. 19 seconds to go.
Great awareness by Jakari Brown. He realized you cannot take a sack in this position. You cannot take a sack, almost ends the game for you. So just to get rid of the football allows you to get to the next down. So an outstanding job there by Brown, just getting the football thrown away out of bounds.
The UCF team trying to avoid a third straight loss.
Just a three-man rush for Cincinnati.
Jakari Brown pressured anyway. Brown flushed, he takes off, bumped out of bounds after 5, but only a dozen seconds remaining.
I think you're still going to see the three-man rush. Remember, there is no timeout, so the clock is moving right now. Guys are getting back, a little winded. There's a substitution for Cincinnati. Guarding the end zone. You cannot allow a big play, so everything has to be in front of you. Nothing gets behind you if you're Cincinnati.
Third down. Jakari Brown. Plants. Fires against the grain, and he got it complete to Kobe Hudson. To the 25. 4 seconds to go. They will spike it, and they'll have 3 seconds to work with.
Great execution. You would have loved that play to probably get you more toward the sideline. But now you do call a timeout. If you're Scott Satterfield, get your defense in order, get everybody a little blow, get a break.
Now they're saying that there was not a timeout call, it appears.
But the play clock's not moving.
Players are rushing back onto the field.
But the play clock's not moving.
It is not. So
now the play clock is moving.
There was all kinds of chaos like this at the end of the first half as well.
Wait, timeout, because he just got the first down. So if they got the first down, the clock should move. There was not another play. So there was no down
Cincinnati
dirty
has
ball.
called their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
They never clocked the football, so the time is running. They spiked the ball?
They spiked it, and then they assumed that Cincinnati had called the timeout. Both
but it
players
should have
went
been
off to the
second down
sideline.
over there. It still was first down on that yard marker over there. Sometimes, did I miss something? That yard marker still said first down. I'm like, so now the yard marker is fixed. It's now second down. The play clock is now started.
Yeah, there's been all kinds of confusion.
I'm confused
going
up here
back to the end of the first half. You're not wrong. The yardage marker down a distance said it was first down. They've changed it to second down.
The play clock still never started. So that's the next part. The play clock should have been going. Now a timeout actually calms everything down. But this is the last play of the game.
Bottom line is this. It's the last play. It's the last hope for UCF. Where do you go? You need 25 yards.
You need Jakari Brown to just make a play. Because right now, if you look at Cincinnati defensively, there's 4 guys near the goal line. So they know that nothing is going to beat you over your head. So it's one last play for the game.
They bring some pressure. Brown trying to escape, and he's dropped by Jared Bartlett. And Cincinnati comes to Orlando and gets the win over UCF. 19-13 the final, and the Bearcats have topped last year's overall and conference win totals.
They didn't go three-man rush on that last play, Mike. They decided to bring pressure. There was about 6 or 7 guys around the line of scrimmage, and I'm saying, what's going on here? But they bring the pressure, and I don't think UCF was able and understood what was about to happen.